Cart abandonment. This part about e-commerce should bother you a little. You've already paid for the traffic. They've liked the product enough and they've added it to cart, and then they vanish. That's not a traffic problem. It is something else. That's money falling through the crack in your store, and most people never even look down to see where it went. In this video, I'll show you where people are actually dropping off between add to cart and checkout, the quiet checkout mistakes that kill sales even when traffic is good, and the simple fixes you can make right now to turn traffic you've already paid for into revenue. Before we get into tactics, you need to understand one thing. If you had a bucket with a crack in the bottom and you kept pouring water into it, you wouldn't say there's not enough water. You'd fix the crack. And that's exactly what a lot of online stores are doing. They're buying more and more traffic, increasing ad budgets, launching new campaigns. All the while, there's a crack after add to cart that's quietly leaking the most valuable visitors that they have. And here's why that matters. When someone adds a product to their cart, that's not casual interest. That is intent. That's someone raising their hand and saying, yeah, I might actually buy this. So if they don't finish the checkout, the problem usually isn't the product, it's not the ad, it's not even the price, it's friction. Something in the cart or checkout experience made them hesitate, feel uncertain, or just give up. And the frustrating part is that most of these leaks are small and they're usually fixable, which is why fixing cart abandonment after you have the traffic and add to carts can be one of the most highest impact things you can do for your revenue. Fix number one, surprise cost at the worst possible moment. Here's the situation we have all been in. You're shopping online, you like the product, so you add it to cart. You're mentally okay with the price. Then you hit checkout and suddenly the total is way higher than you expected. Shipping you didn't see, taxes you didn't think about. At that moment, right there, that's one of the biggest cart abandonment triggers across almost every store. It's not because people are cheap. It's because surprise costs feel like a broken promise. Here's what's actually happening psychologically. When somebody adds to cart, they've already anchored a number in their head. They've subconsciously said, okay, it cost about that much. I'm good with that. When the price jumps later, it doesn't feel like new information. It feels like something was taken away. And when that happens, trust drops instantly. Stop hiding the real total until the last second. When expectations are met, people feel safe clicking continue. And one more thing to watch for. This shows up all the time in the recordings. People go from cart to checkout back to cart, then they leave. That backtrack almost always is a pricing surprise. If you fix nothing else in your store, fix this. Because every time someone abandons due to surprise cost, you didn't lose a sale, you train them not to trust your checkout next time. Fix number two, trust gaps where money changes hands. Let me ask you something. When you're about to enter your credit card online, what are you actually checking for? It's not the product anymore. You've already decided you want it. What you're really asking is this legit? And this is where a lot of stores quietly lose people. Because the moment someone hits checkout, the decision shifts. Up until now, it was emotional. Do I want this? At checkout, it becomes rational. Do I trust this site with my money? If your checkout doesn't answer that question clearly, people don't complain, they just leave. This happens most often with smaller and mid-sized brands where trust isn't assumed yet. People don't automatically know your shipping speed, your returns policy, or what happens after they pay, and they start hunting for clues. They scroll. They click little icons. They look for policy links, and if they don't find answers fast enough, that hesitation turns into abandonment. The fix here is to stop making people search. Right next to where they're paying, you want a tight cluster of reassurance. Very simple things like clear return summary, not a legal wall of text, just the basics. A realistic shipping time frame, a way to contact support if something goes wrong. And one detail that's wildly underrated, tell them what happens next. Something as simple as you'll receive order confirmation immediately and tracking within 24 hours. That line reduces anxiety more than most trust badges ever will. The takeaway here is straightforward. Checkout isn't a payment form, it's a trust conversation. And if you don't proactively answer the trust questions, shoppers answer them for you, and the answer is usually no. Fix number 3, forced accounts and decision fatigue. This one looks small, but it kills more checkouts than most people realize. You're ready to buy. You click checkout, and suddenly you're asked to create an account. Username, password, confirm password, check this box, uncheck that box. All that friction hits after you've already decided to spend money. So here's the thing. When someone is in checkout mode, momentum matters more than persuasion. They're not looking to start a relationship. Every extra decision you add, create an account, confirm an email, choose preferences, is another exit ramp. And most people don't consciously think, I don't want an account. They just feel a tiny spike of effort and leave. The fix, let checkout be checkout. Guest checkout should be the default path, not hidden, not secondary, not framed like a lesser option. If you want accounts and accounts are useful, create them after the purchase. Once someone has paid, they're far more willing to set a password. Also pay attention to unnecessary distractions. Extra links in the header, multiple calls to action, optional fields that don't actually matter. Each one adds cognitive load, and cognitive load slows people down. When this is a problem, you'll usually see a clean pattern in analytics. Drop-off spike right at the first checkout step. And in recordings, you'll see people hover, then exit. The takeaway is this: checkout should feel like a straight hallway, not a maze. If someone wants to buy, your job is to make that as effortless as possible. Fix number 4, mobile checkout that quietly sabotages you. Most people will tell you their store is mobile friendly. And technically they're right. It loads, it fits the screen, nothing looks broken. But mobile checkout fails in quieter ways. Tiny buttons, long forms, calls to action that slip below the fold, pages that load just slow enough to feel annoying. On desktop, people tolerate friction. On mobile, not so much. Mobile shoppers are distracted, impatient, and usually doing things one-handed. One moment of confusion is enough to break the momentum. The first fix here is payment placement. Your express checkout options like Shop Pay, Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal should be the first thing someone sees on mobile, not after they scroll. Those options exist to remove typing. If they're hidden, they can't do their job. Next, look at tap targets like quantity buttons, remove from cart links, apply discount fields. If someone has to pinch or zoom or tap twice to hit the right thing, you're creating friction. Another big one, the primary continue button. If it disappears when someone scrolls, you're asking them to hunt for progress on small screens. That's exhausting. Sticky or always visible calls to actions outperform static ones on mobile for a reason. They reduce effort. When mobile is the issue, recordings make it obvious. You'll see mistaps, repeated taps on buttons, people scrolling up and down trying to find out where to go next. The takeaway here is simple. Mobile checkout isn't about design, it's about momentum. If your checkout asks mobile users to slow down, they will, and then they'll leave. Fix number 5, missing or buried accelerated checkout options. Typing is the enemy of impulse. Every field someone has to fill out is a chance for hesitation to creep in. Address, city, state, zip, phone number, email. That's a lot of effort for someone who's already decided to buy. Accelerated checkout options exist to remove the effort. They collapse the whole process into a tap. And here's the mistake a lot of stores make. They technically have Express Pay, it's just buried. If someone has to scroll or hunt or think about their preferred payment method, you've already lost the advantage. The fix is to prioritize speed. Put Shop Pay, Apple Pay, Google Pay right at the top of the checkout. If you're using a cart drawer or a cart page, surface them there too. You want shoppers to think, oh, this will be fast. Because when checkout feels fast, people commit. The takeaway here is simple. If someone is ready to buy, don't make them prove it. Let them finish in the fewest steps possible. Fix number 6, checkout errors and form friction. This one is brutal because most store owners never see it happening. Someone is actively trying to give you money and then the checkout just quietly trips them. An address field won't validate. A state dropdown resets. A discount code errors out with no explanation. The continue button does nothing. From the shopper's perspective, it feels broken, and broken equals risky. Here's the key thing to understand. When people hit friction at checkout, they don't troubleshoot. They don't assume it's a temporary glitch. They assume the site is broken, so they leave. The fix here is removing failure points. First, make address entry as easy as possible. Autocomplete isn't just a convenience, it prevents errors. The fewer characters someone types in, the fewer chances something goes wrong. Next, pay attention to field overload. If a field isn't absolutely required to complete the order, question why it's there. Every extra input increases time, effort, and error risk. Discount codes are another common problem. If you use discounts, make the code box obvious and functional. If you don't use discounts, don't tease people with mysterious field that makes them wonder if they're missing something. The takeaway is this: checkout should feel sturdy. If shoppers feel like one wrong move might break the process, they won't keep going. Fix number 7, cart recovery that matches intent, not panic. Even with a perfect checkout, some people are still gonna leave. Not because they changed their mind, but because life happened. They got distracted. They wanted to check shipping. They weren't ready to pull out their cart at that exact moment. The mistake most stores make is how they react to that. They panic. They fire off aggressive emails. They lead with discounts. They turn a moment of hesitation into pressure. High intent shoppers don't need pressure. They need reassurance. The goal of cart recovery isn't to convince someone. It's to remove the last unanswered question. A simple, effective flow looks like this. The first message goes out quickly, not salesy, not urgent, just helpful. Shipping time, returns, support contact, quiet, hey, just in case you had a question. The second message can add some social proof like reviews, a reminder why people buy from you. The third message, if margin allows, should involve an incentive. And even then, it should be selective. Not everyone needs a discount. If you train people to wait for one, you create a new problem. And when recovery is done right, you'll see it in your sales. People open the email, they click once, they finish checkout. You've already paid for the traffic. You've already earned the interest. Now it's just about fixing the cracks. And if you're watching or listening to this, you're thinking, yeah, I know my store has a few of those cracks. I just don't know which ones matter most. This is exactly where a strategy call can help. You want a second set of eyes on your store, on your ads, on your conversions, on your checkout, on your cart abandonment, or any of it, you can book a strategy call with us. We'll look at what's actually happening in your funnel, figure out where the drop-offs are, and talk through what's worth fixing and what's not. You can click the link in the description and book that strategy call whenever you're ready. All the best.